silence can often be overshadowed by the noise of our thoughts, words, and actions. We find ourselves constantly talking, texting, or posting on social media, filling our lives with endless chatter. However, the wisdom of Buddhism reminds us that there are times when silence is not just golden but also profoundly transformative. It teaches us to recognize the power of silence and to use it wisely, especially in 5 crucial situations. This journey through the spiritual teachings of Buddhism will take us on a voyage to understand the significance of always being silent in 5 key moments. These teachings offer profound insights that can inspire us to lead a more mindful, harmonious, and purposeful life. Let's explore these ancient pearls of wisdom, embracing the serenity of silence and finding solutions to our life problems. Number 1. The power of silence. Silence is not merely the absence of noise, it's a profound state of being. In the words of the great Vietnamese Zen master, Thich Nhat Hanh, silence is essential. We need silence just as much as we need light. If our minds are crowded with words and thoughts, we have no space. Buddhism recognizes this space and encourages its cultivation in various aspects of life. Silence is a gateway to inner peace, mindfulness, and self-awareness. It offers us the opportunity to listen, not only to the world outside but, more importantly, to the whispers of our hearts and minds. It's a powerful tool that can transform the way we interact with the world and navigate life's challenges. As we embark on this journey through the 5 situations where silence is recommended in Buddhism, let us keep in mind that silence is not about being passive or indifferent. It's about being present, attuned, and intentional. Let us explore these situations, understand their significance, and embrace silence as a source of empowerment. Number 2. Silence in anger. In the face of anger, always be silent. These words hold profound wisdom, for anger is a powerful and often destructive emotion. When we are angry, our words and actions are fueled by this intense emotion, and they can lead to unintended consequences. Buddhism teaches us that anger arises from attachment, aversion, and ignorance. When we become attached to our desires or averse to a particular situation, anger can take hold of us. In such moments, silence is a potent antidote. Silence gives us the space to pause and reflect on the source of our anger. It allows us to step back and observe our emotional reactions without immediate judgment or expression. Through silence, we can engage in mindful breathing and self-inquiry, gaining insight into the root causes of our anger. Furthermore, silence is a shield against the harsh words and actions that often accompany anger. It prevents us from causing harm to others and ourselves. In the silence of restraint, we can protect our relationships and create an atmosphere of calm and understanding. In the Buddhist tradition, there is a story of the 2 arrows. The first arrow represents the initial pain or suffering we experience when something distressing happens to us. The second arrow symbolizes the suffering we inflict on ourselves through our reaction to the first arrow. By practicing silence in the face of anger, we can avoid shooting that second arrow and reduce unnecessary suffering. Silence in anger is not about suppressing our emotions but about creating space for reflection, self-awareness, and healing. It is a powerful practice that can help us transform anger into compassion and understanding. Number 3. Silence in gossip and slander. Always be silent when you hear gossip and slander. This teaching underscores the importance of mindful speech and the consequences of engaging in harmful communication. Gossip and slander are like poisoned arrows that can harm not only the person being spoken about but also the one who speaks. In Buddhism, right speech is a fundamental ethical guideline, emphasizing the importance of speaking truthfully, kindly, and beneficially. By choosing silence in the face of gossip or slander, we align ourselves with the principles of right speech and promote a more compassionate and harmonious society. Gossip and slander often stem from negative emotions like jealousy, resentment, or a desire to harm someone's reputation. Engaging in such speech not only perpetuates negative emotions within ourselves but also spreads negativity to others. It can damage relationships, trust, and community bonds. Silence in these situations serves multiple purposes. Firstly, it prevents us from participating in harmful speech. By choosing not to engage in gossip or slander, we avoid the moral and karmic consequences of speaking untruths or causing harm to others. Secondly, silence provides an opportunity to reflect on the intention behind the gossip or slander. Are we engaging in this behavior out of envy, anger, or fear? Such self-reflection can be a catalyst for personal growth and transformation. Choosing silence can also encourage those engaging in gossip to rethink their words. When we refuse to participate in or listen to such conversations, it sends a signal that we do not condone such behavior. This non-participation may inspire others to reconsider the impact of their words and may even discourage them from continuing with their negative speech. Number 4. Silence during conflict. Always be silent during conflicts. Conflict is an inevitable part of human interactions, but the way we approach it can significantly impact its outcome. Buddhism encourages us to choose silence as a response to conflict, emphasizing the role of mindfulness, compassion, and understanding in conflict resolution. Conflicts often arise from differences in opinions, values, or interests, leading to heated arguments, hurtful words, and emotional distress. In such moments, silence can act as a cooling balm, allowing us to step back, reflect, and respond with wisdom and compassion. Silence during conflict is not about avoiding or suppressing our feelings, it's about creating a space for active listening, empathy, and finding common ground. By choosing silence, we allow ourselves and others to express themselves without fear of judgment or escalation. Moreover, silence allows us to disengage from the cycle of reactivity. When we respond to conflict with anger or defensiveness, we often escalate the situation, making it more challenging to resolve. Silence breaks this cycle, offering a pause for reflection and a mindful response. Number 5. Silence in witnessing suffering. Always be silent when you witness the suffering of others. Compassion lies at the heart of Buddhism, and this teaching emphasizes the power of silence as a means to express compassion and offer solace to those who are suffering. When we encounter the suffering of others, our immediate response may be to offer words of comfort or advice. However, Buddhism suggests that in many cases, silence is more profound and compassionate. Silence communicates our presence, our empathy, and our willingness to listen without judgment. Suffering is an inherent part of human existence, and witnessing the suffering of others is a common experience. Silence, in these moments, offers a refuge for the suffering individual to share their emotions, thoughts, and experiences in their own time. Number 6. Silence in personal suffering. Always be silent when you are suffering. This teaching acknowledges the importance of self-compassion and self-care during difficult times. It encourages us to turn inward and embrace the healing power of silence. Suffering is a part of the human experience, and in these moments, silence can be a sanctuary for introspection and healing. Silence during personal suffering offers us the space to acknowledge our pain without judgment. It provides refuge from the pressure to explain or justify our suffering to others. By embracing silence, we allow ourselves to process our emotions, connect with our inner strength, and discover insights about the impermanence of suffering. Number 7. Silence as a path to self-mastery. Always be silent when your words lack purpose. Buddhism emphasizes the significance of purposeful speech. Words hold immense power. They can build bridges or destroy them. When we speak without intent or understanding, we risk creating confusion, harm, or misunderstanding. In moments when we find ourselves speaking out of habit, impulse, or a desire to fill the void, silence becomes a transformative choice. By choosing silence, we align with the principle of right speech, one of the Eightfold Path's pillars. This teaches us to speak only when our words are truthful, kind, necessary, and beneficial. Purposeful silence allows us to conserve energy, focus our thoughts, and nurture clarity. It also empowers us to observe the world around us with greater depth and awareness. In silence, We learn to appreciate the beauty of mindful communication and the strength of restraint. It is a reminder that sometimes, the most profound things we can say are left unspoken. Number 8. Silence when faced with ignorance. Always be silent when confronted by ignorance. When ignorance or misunderstanding arises in our interactions, our instinct may be to correct or argue. However, not all situations call for immediate explanation or debate. As the Buddha wisely observed, an unwise man who speaks much is no better than a mute. Responding to ignorance with silence is not an act of surrender but one of wisdom. It allows us to evaluate whether our words would foster understanding or merely fuel further conflict. Silence in such moments prevents escalation and gives us the opportunity to reflect deeply on our own understanding. Furthermore, silence is an invitation for the other party to introspect. Sometimes, our calm silence speaks louder than words, encouraging others to pause and reconsider their perspectives. It is a gentle act of compassion, providing space for growth rather than confrontation. Number 9. Silence during deep listening. Always be silent when someone is sharing their heart. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, true listening has become a rare and precious act. When someone shares their emotions, vulnerabilities, or struggles, our silence creates a sacred space for them to feel acknowledged and valued. Buddhism reminds us that to truly listen is to offer a gift of presence. In moments of deep listening, silence enables us to focus entirely on the speaker, free from distractions or the urge to interject. It is a way of saying, "I see you. I hear you. Your words matter." This form of silence fosters trust and connection. It allows us to offer compassion not through advice but through the simple yet profound act of being fully present for another. Number 10. Silence as a practice of humility. Always be silent when tempted to boast or seek validation. The ego craves attention and validation, often pushing us to seek approval through words. However, Buddhism teaches that true contentment comes from within, not from the opinions of others. Silence, in this context, becomes a practice of humility. By refraining from boastful or self-serving speech, we cultivate a sense of inner peace and detachment from the need for external recognition. Silence allows us to redirect our focus toward actions rather than words, letting our deeds speak for themselves. This practice aligns with the Buddhist principle of non-attachment, reminding us that our worth is not defined by how others perceive us but by the integrity of our actions and intentions. Number 11. Silence as a gateway to creativity. Always be silent when seeking inspiration or clarity. Creativity thrives in stillness. When our minds are crowded with thoughts, distractions, or external noise, it becomes difficult to access our inner wellspring of ideas and inspiration. Silence provides the fertile ground where creativity can flourish. Buddhism encourages us to embrace moments of solitude and silence as opportunities for reflection and insight. In this stillness, we reconnect with our authentic selves and discover fresh perspectives. Whether we are artists, writers, or problem solvers, silence is the canvas upon which our most profound ideas are painted. Buddhism's teachings on silence are not about withdrawal or suppression. Instead, they invite us to engage with the world more mindfully and authentically. Silence is a tool for self-awareness, a source of compassion, and a path to inner peace. When we embrace silence in the situations discussed, anger, gossip, conflict, suffering, and purposelessness, we cultivate wisdom, emotional resilience, and harmonious relationships. By expanding our understanding of silence to include humility, deep listening, and creativity, we unlock even greater potential for transformation. In the words of the Buddha, "Better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace." Let us honor the wisdom of silence and allow it to guide us toward a more mindful and purposeful existence.